Welcome to Sensor Noise, a podcast about photography and cameras and lately tariffs.
Lately tariffs.
Yeah.
It just keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look, not to be Larry David here, but I'm a little fired up today.
What is the deal with tariffs? I'm sorry, that's not Larry David.
I went to this place for breakfast because I've got some friends in town, and we went to this new cafe that opened that's called Kiki's Breakfast Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fine. It's a place you go when you want to spend $100 on breakfast.
I don't often have that desire.
Well, after leaving, I learned that it's Denny's, folks.
Oh, it's underneath. It's secretly Denny's.
It's Denny's because Denny's purchased this chain from. This was an Orlando chain, and Denny's bought them.
What was this called? Kiki's Breakfast Service
Cafe.
Kiki's Cafe.
It's just gentrified Denny's, it turns out.
America's top breakfast place. I don't know about that.
I mean, it's not it's fine. It's not that bad, but this
is just one of these gentrified millennial breakfast place kind of things. Much. Yeah.
We should have just gone down the street to Denny's. It would have been cheaper, and we wouldn't have had to wait for 40 minutes.
Well, I guess that's how sort of chains like that are maintaining, because no one's going to Denny's, but how do they stay afloat? By acquiring stuff that people are going to.
Oh, that's the thing. People are going to Denny's.
Are they?
Just not in the daylight.
Ah,
I don't think anybody's going to Denny's while it's light out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
you don't want to be faced with the harsh light of your
reality.
Decisions. Yeah.
It's like that, what's that French dish where you put the napkin over your head so God can't see you?
I don't know. I don't know about that. That's interesting.
You don't know about this? There's there's some French dish where it's it's a songbird that's been drowned in some wine or something. And you're supposed to eat the whole thing in one bite. And you put a napkin over your head to hide your shame from God.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's extremely Catholic guilt, I feel.
Isn't it, right?
We have a lot of those kinds of breakfast places here too, which I go to maybe once a year, because it's do I like their breakfast? Sure. Do I want to pay $30 for breakfast all the time?
Right.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
We have a couple. We don't have as many diners. The diner culture out here is pretty bad, which is a shame.
See, I
really want to have a diner.
We have so many diners out here.
I want to have an unlimited cup of bad coffee, and there's ads all over the coffee cup.
There's ads all over the coffee cup.
Eggs,
we have ones where there are ads all over the table. Table has the ads pasted onto it.
Yeah, you want that too. You want as many ads as possible. That's how you want
them
good.
You want them coming up to you every 5 minutes, oh, do you need a warm up?
Exactly.
So they can pour 2 more ounces of coffee into your cup.
Exactly. That's what you want. And we simply don't have that here. It's a real shame.
That is a shame. Yeah.
Well, anyway, news. Fujifilm has made something.
They've been teasing it, and finally they came out with it. It's called the X-Half.
Yeah.
It's a camera that has an 18 megapixel Type 1 sensor. That's
1 inch, right?
1 inch, I believe, yes. That basically is portrait oriented, so that it takes quote unquote half frame photos. Yep. A lot of people seem interested in this. Personally, I am not a half frame person, so as I learned,
I've been thinking about this more. So it has a couple of interesting features. I mean, we don't need to go into all of them, but they're trying to emulate the film.
Yes,
experience
and this is what I
with
want. This is what I want to get into about it. But yeah,
so
it has a film advance lever.
Yeah,
and it allows you to enter film camera mode, which allows you to select a roll size of 36, 54, or 72 exposures.
Right.
And when you take a photo, you have to use the frame advance lever to be able to take another photo. And then you don't see them. You have to develop them in a companion app.
Right.
It also has 2 screens, one of which is your typical screen for monitoring stuff. And the other one is this little tiny what would be a film window on a film camera that displays what film simulation you have selected.
Right. That I like. They should bring that to the other cameras.
Yeah. The camera also has a grain effect option that adds film-like texture, as well as a date stamp function that embeds the date on the bottom right of photos. My only thing with this is, like, it's clear that you guys want to make a film camera, and you should just make a film camera. You can, like, does Fuji need to be reminded that you can just make a film camera? Like, that's fine.
Right.
Just make a film camera.
Yeah, exactly. We can do that. Like, we can just make one and people will buy it.
Yeah.
Especially for $899 or $849. Sorry, $849.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of money to get the experience that you can get from, like, a $50 used point and shoot. You know,
I've been thinking about this camera not so much for the film camera stuff, but for. Okay, I carry around a purse. A lot of people carry around purses. Even with that, the X100 is very large.
It's a big
heavy.
boy, yeah.
And I mean, I guess it's not that big, but in a smaller purse, it takes up the whole thing, and it's very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't. It's quite a bit smaller. It's quite a bit lighter, and it would fit
half a pound.
It would be quite nice to just have this in your bag, right? Because you're buying this for, it takes pictures that are better than my phone, right? But I can have it all the time. That is not such a bad value proposition, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because it also doesn't shoot RAW. It only shoots JPEG.
See, I'd be interested in this if it wasn't portrait first, I guess, for similar reasons.
Yeah, sure.
Because
I don't know if I really care that much.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't need all the, you know, excitement of the X100 or whatever, you know, but yeah. This is, I feel like we're maybe getting to the point where it's like, guys, just make an affordable digital point and shoot again.
Yeah, that is where we're headed here. So, but
yeah,
they gotta have a gimmick on it of some kind. And to be fair, I don't think this gimmick is that bad.
No, it's not. Fine. It's just, you know, for me as someone who shoots film, it's like you clearly want to make a film camera so badly, and you really should just do that.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to, you know, to make a digital camera that emulates the film experience. You can just make a film camera.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see. I do think the price is fairly high for something like
Very
this.
High. I wonder how quickly it will get discounted.
Yeah. We'll see. I guess we'll see how popular it is.
The thing is, the target market for this is Instagram girls. And
yeah, I suppose that's true.
This is a pretty good offering for that market, I think.
Yeah.
Because they want the filters, you know, it's got all the filters, and then on top of the film simulations, there are other filters that it has as well. It's not just the film simulations.
Yeah.
It's got other filters too.
That's wonder
what people want.
I do wonder if being a fixed lens will sort of hamper it in that regard, though, because I don't know. I think folks are used to being able to zoom. Well, but get the
folks
2X
are used to their phone, right? That's what they're used to.
But you hit 2X and all that, right?
Well, unless you have that on tap. Unless you have the if you have the Pro phone, sure, right? But doesn't the other one only have the wide angle?
I thought it had a zoom in too, but I don't know.
The main phone only has 2 cameras, not 3, so you don't have the super zoom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think with the target audience for this, it probably will do okay. It's not. It's
curious.
If you're listening to this podcast, this isn't for you. It's not for us either. We're not the target market.
It's interesting that it does have a dial, but the dial is just exposure compensation.
I mean, that makes sense to me, I think.
Yeah.
That is the thing that, you know, when I tell people...
I suppose if you're aiming to emulate a sort of basic film point and shoot, yeah, that is kind of,
When I'm teaching people photography, I always say, like, the first thing you should set to manual, like, go to the programmed auto mode and mess with aperture. Number one, like, leave the shutter and ISO to the camera and mess with aperture.
Which this does have a little aperture
That's what this
ring.
is doing, right?
Yeah.
And then if you want the photo to be a little brighter, you can use the exposure compensation to tell the camera that you want it to be brighter. Like, this is how I tell people to start getting into, manual controls.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes perfect sense to me to have these two be the things that are easy to adjust.
I also think that Fuji is taunting me specifically because they keep being like, we have a new film simulation.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does have a flash too, which I guess is good.
Has a flash. It has a cold shoe as well for
Yeah.
putting other stuff on, which, if you're a creator, could be.
It'll be for a microphone, right?
Microphone or video light or whatever. Yeah.
And USB-C charging, which, hey, it's pretty good.
What's interesting is this is about the same cost as the Fuji XM5.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I need to go see an XM5 in person, because if it is truly a little small guy like a Sony Alpha 1000 series, that might appeal to me for having a little guy camera. But,
it looks like it should be smaller, but I don't know.
Yes,
hard to tell.
Yeah.
And lastly, an interesting choice they made here. It uses the same battery as the X100 series.
Yeah.
So the battery life on this thing is probably ludicrous.
Yeah, since it's
because it's really small.
It's got a tiny sensor, and
tiny sensor, tiny
processor,
screen. And then a battery that's sized for a much larger camera.
Yeah. You can record video on it. It's a weird format. It's like 1440 by 1080. So
maybe okay for Instagram stories.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I also don't know how long it would last with that battery, but yeah. In actual film camera news, there is a company called Reto, which I read as Retro at first, but it's Reto. They have the Reto Pano 35mm, which switches between standard and Pano modes mid-roll. This was a common feature for film point and shoots back in the day.
How does it? Is it just a cover over the?
Yeah, it's basically just it changes the shape of the film gate to make it so that it's more rectangular.
Got it. Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
And this is also, like, the design of this is very clearly inspired by a 90s point and shoot. It looks almost exactly like, any given Pentax of that era or whatever. So, and then, you got a little slider on it. 22mm fixed lens, fixed 1/100 of a second shutter speed, and f9.5 aperture. So yeah, fun stuff.
And $35.
$35. So,
which I think is a completely reasonable price for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what these kinds of things should cost,
because it is basically a plastic box with a lens.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So sample images look like a film camera. Yeah.
I bet this would do numbers if they were to sell this in like CVS or whatever,
like Urban Outfitters or something.
Urban Outfitters would charge like $100 for it, but yeah.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
News that I found personally exciting. Ricoh has said that they are finally making a GR4 camera.
I never expected them to actually do this, to be honest.
Yeah. The GR3 came out in 2018. Just as a reminder. And so they are now coming out with the GR4. They said it'll be here in the fall, and it will adhere closely to the design of the GR3 from 2018. Will continue to use an autofocusing 28mm equivalent f2.8 lens and only a rear LCD with no electronic or optical viewfinder available. So it sounds basically like they're just going to update the internals of the GR3.
Yeah,
that's basically been what they've been doing for the GR series.
Yeah, it's a bigger sensor. It's a 26mm or 26 megapixel sensor now.
Yeah, higher ISO range, slightly different lens design, but still the same focal length.
I really want to understand Ricoh's strategy here. So they're saying that the GR4 is going to come out in autumn, and then there will be an HDF variant later. Why?
Like 3 years later, or what?
It says, after winter 2025.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Why do they make that a separate variant?
I don't No.
I just do not understand why they make that a different kind of, like, a totally different camera.
Well, and the other thing is that what they haven't said is, are they going to make a GR4X?
I don't know.
Because it says they're discontinuing the GR3 in July, but the GR3X will continue to be available, quote, for the time being.
Right.
So
what?
To me, it's like,
they're
but
very
these are the, like, this is basically like this is like cars, right? Like you have a platform. It's all the same platform. Why are you releasing it piecemeal? I don't get it. The other thing is that it will have 53 gigabytes of usable built-in storage, but it also downsizes from full-size SD cards to micro SD.
Okay.
Which is a little weird.
Sure, who cares? Sure.
Yeah.
At this point, there's effectively no difference between the two.
It's just like, what did they need the space that the SD card was taking up?
Maybe if they wanted to use the same body or very similar body, maybe they did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Curious. Yeah.
Interesting.
Should be interesting. I probably wouldn't be interested until they have a GR4X because I like that focal length a little bit better. But I don't know.
But again, this is the same category we were talking about. Cameras that are small enough to carry around.
Cameras that are small enough. Yeah. And the GR3 is pretty nice. It's an APS-C sized sensor in a compact body. It has in-body image stabilization as well. Yeah. So
people really like them, especially for like street photography. They're really good for that.
It's a pretty good camera. I miss the lack of a viewfinder personally, but you
get used to it.
Yeah,
you get used to it, film boy.
What if I don't want to?
Well, get with the times.
Nikon was the top full frame mirrorless camera maker in Japan for the first time. I feel like this is asterisk because it's full frame mirrorless camera maker. But in large part to the new Nikon Z5 II.
That makes sense, yeah.
They basically they took the crown away from Sony in this case, who was on top.
I mean, we keep saying this. We've said this multiple times. Nikon are the only ones who are actually making an effort, seemingly, to make it so that there's no reason to purchase APS-C cameras anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they've got full frame cameras that are so cheap. Why would you buy a crop sensor?
Yeah.
They still offer them, which we've said I think they should not anymore. But like, why would you buy, if you're going to buy an 6600, 6800, whatever the alpha one is, that's like $800. You can buy a Z5, not even a Z5 II, like a Z5 for like $950 on sale. Why would you not get that instead?
Yeah. Well, and it seems like Sony, like, they have their A7, but it's been incremental updates thus far, I guess. And I don't know that they have a full frame that is as affordable as the Z5 II.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
So
I don't know if they can.
I don't know.
It feels like at this point Sony is chasing after the global shutter thing that they have in the Alpha 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're chasing that pretty hard, and they want to get that in like more places in the line.
That and like video more generally, it feels like. Yeah.
Which is like fair if you want to go that way, but Sony also has lines of cinema cameras. So like,
right.
I don't know. It's just very confusing to me.
Yeah. Anyway, Nikon
this is
also
really
says,
funny, I want to say. Linked at the bottom of this article is a current state of the mirrorless war from 2012. Who do you think was number one in mirrorless cameras in 2012?
2012? Oh,
2012.
Geez. I have no idea.
Olympus.
Kodak? Olympus.
Olympus. 28.6% Olympus. Then Sony 23%, Panasonic 17.
Yeah.
Nikon 12, Canon 9. Yep.
Well,
Olympus. The Olympus Pen Light E PL3 was number one.
Which I'm guessing is a small, compact.
Small micro four thirds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That one camera was selling 10% of all mirrorless cameras in 2012.
Wow.
That's wild.
Poor Olympus.
I know, man. And Sony was still selling the Sony NEX, like their APS-C ones back then too.
Yeah. Nikon has also said that they will be raising the prices of their products on June 23rd due to tariffs.
How much?
Doesn't say how much exactly, but you know.
So Nikon is saying tariffs will reduce its operating profit for this fiscal year by as much as $70 million. That's not good.
Yeah, no, it's not great.
Sony has a similarly dire forecast saying it anticipated a $682 million decrease in operating income.
Yeah.
Now, Sony, hold on. That's not camera's fault.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a console that doesn't have any games on it, you're not gonna sell very many of them.
Yeah.
And if you raise the price of your TV by 50% more than the tariff amount, I'm just saying, like, I don't think this is camera's fault here.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing here is, there's currently a 10% tariff on Japan, but on July 9th, it goes up to 24%, at least as currently scheduled.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because obviously Japan, I don't know, something. It's important that we tariff them for some reason.
And Sigma as well. Sigma's going to increase tariffs and come on, man.
In other news, Capture One has announced
God.
updates to its platform. New retouch tools.
Okay. What does it do?
Retouch faces automatically detects faces. Has 5 main adjustments: impact, blemishes, dark circles, even skin, and contouring. And then some workflow updates. Users can now create subfolders for sessions using the new Session Builder tool. And also they changed their logo. And now
their logo, it looks awful, huh?
It looks like a copyright symbol inverted, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Their old one was fine.
Why did? Huh?
I don't know.
Did they do anything? Do people use this product anymore? I feel like it had a lot of steam for a while, and then it kind of just. I do know of at least a couple people who use this, but certainly it's not common compared to Lightroom or Because I feel like when they took away the perpetual licenses like they used to do, and there was some cloud thing they were trying to get people onto. I feel like a lot of the goodwill that they had sort of fell off, and now they're just another thing out there.
I don't know that they, are really. They haven't really been working on things like supporting lots of good cameras or anything, so that's still an issue.
Oh, I remember what the problem was. It was that there used to be a free version of Capture One for Fujifilm, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they just said, never mind.
Yeah.
Broke everybody's software that they already had.
Right.
And then didn't give you an option to do anything except pay them. Yeah. Good. Great.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. Apparently the retouch function works while you're doing tethered photography, which means it's meant for professional photographers, and that's really what Capture One is mainly for, your portrait type photographer. I think at this point,
I think it's for portraits and for school, event school photography, that sort of thing. I think that's who it's for. Yeah.
Yep.
And everyone else just continues. You come crawling back to Lightroom.
Yeah,
that's what the rest of us end up doing.
Yeah. It's where did that bring you? Back to me.
Right. Every time you end up back at Lightroom, because Adobe, not the best, but also you can't. Nobody's got anything better.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's all the news for today. One thing I wanted to talk about was that I purchased tickets to an IndyCar race.
Where?
It's at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, which is about an hour away. It is the Honda Indy 200.
Midohio.com.
4
hours of Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, well, that's there. Yeah.
All right.
We're looking at the Honda Indy 200 at Mid Ohio, sponsored by the whatever generation. Oh, presented by the. It's always presented by a different Honda car every year. Whatever they're trying.
Presented by the Honda Passport.
Yeah. Oh, is it the Passport this year?
Yeah, the Passport. That's the electric
last year,
one, isn't it?
No, that's the Prologue you're thinking
the Prologue,
of. The Passport is their like off-roady SUV type thing. Last year it was the presented by the Honda Accord.
Okay.
Yeah, so this should be interesting, especially because Mid Ohio is a course where it seems like it's pretty casual. Like they have a grandstand, but you can also just kind of walk around.
Sure.
And so I even have infield parkings that I can park in the middle of the course and sort of walk around. And so the thing is, like, what do I need for this? I think obviously my camera and my long lens. Monopod or tripod? I wasn't sure. Probably tripod, but
geez. Do you have a monopod that has a foot on the bottom?
I think I do. I'd have to look. I believe I do. Yes.
Because that would be what I would suggest.
Yeah.
So I have one of those for this kind of thing, because you're going to want to be able to turn and point the camera
right
at the same time. So you need more flexibility than a tripod, unless you're going to bring like a video tripod head.
No, that would be way too much.
Yeah.
And way too heavy.
Probably a monopod is what I would do.
Yeah, one of these monopod with feet kind of situations. Yes, I think that makes sense. I got a circular polarizer for my long lens because I didn't have one, but I figured that would be helpful. I think that's kind of it. Yeah.
Extra battery, probably.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be doing a lot of burst shooting, and that will consume all of your battery very quickly. Yeah.
I mean, it's outside, right? So the conditions will either be fine or like we won't be racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it should be fine. Crank the ISO up or whatever, so that
bring
the shutter speed up.
The shade for the end of your lens.
Yeah.
That little thingy there. I don't always bring that with me, but for something like this in the sunlight, you're going to want it.
Fortunately, that just hangs on the end of my lens very, very nicely. It clicks in the other way around when you don't need it. So.
Oh yeah, mine does too. But on the 100 to 400, if you have that on, then the zoom ring is covered by the thing, so you can't use the zoom ring unless you have it on or off.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue in my case, but yeah. Yeah. So really all I need to do is figure out what my monopod situation is.
Yeah. You may find that you just end up shooting handheld. I'm going to be honest.
It's possible. Yeah.
Because my only
I worry about stability being zoomed in a lot.
You do have IBIS.
Yeah, that's true.
My only experience doing stuff like this is the plane spotting. And I bought a monopod like for plane spotting, and I used it once, and then I said, never mind. I'll just do handheld.
Yeah.
And it turns out fine, especially if it's bright out. You go down to ISO 100 or 64 or whatever. You crank your shutter speed way up, and it's pretty damn stable just in your hand, because the lens and the body both have stabilization.
Yep. Yeah.
So you may end up not needing it.
Yeah. We'll see what I can manage here. Should be an interesting challenge to try and, photograph cars flying by at like 200 miles per hour. Or so.
The real challenge will be the weight of the thing.
Yes, that's
holding
true.
that for a long time is not easy.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Well, that's like one reason to have a monopod. I think is just
that is the main reason, I would say.
Yeah. So.
Also, get used to using the screen instead of the viewfinder.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be a lot easier to pan with the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be really curious if you can get those like the tracking shots where the background is blurry but the car's in focus.
Yeah, I
have no idea how to do
I would
those.
like to accomplish that, but yeah, I don't know. I might have to look at how people pull that off, kind of thing.
I know you can do it with planes. I've never had any luck though.
Yeah.
So I'll try it.
That might require more camera control than I am capable of, but
it's only about stability, is my understanding. It's just like you have to use a longer exposure and keep the camera stable. Not like super long, just long enough to get a little bit of motion in the background and stabilize on the car. But now that we have car autofocus, maybe that will help make it easier. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's trained on Indy cars.
I think car's a car. I think it'll figure it out.
They look pretty different, but we'll see.
No, it has to be because they're trained on like Formula One and stuff.
Oh, that's true.
So it's got to know what an Indy car is.
Yeah.
So I have the tilt shift lens.
You have taken delivery of the tilt shift lens.
I've gotten it. It's quite nice. It's kind of a weapon. It's very heavy. It's all metal.
What brand is this again?
I believe it's the like TT Artisan one.
Okay, yeah.
And it's, hold on, I can get the specs here. So I've got it in my hand, but that doesn't tell me what the specs are. Yeah, TT Artisan 50 millimeter, 1.4 tilt shift. It's pretty good. Manual focus. The camera doesn't love that it's manual focus, but it does give you the zebra stripes, so it's pretty easy to actually like to focus it on stuff. I figured out how the tilt shift works. I do want to comment it. For the $230 whatever I paid for this, it came with a very nice little lens bag and everything. Came with metal lens caps. Hey, other Nikon in particular, start including lens bags. What the hell?
Yeah.
For thousands of dollars. Sometimes they just don't come with one. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
But it can tilt, and then it can rotate as well, so you can get the tilt on whatever axis you want. I was playing around with it. It's pretty cool. I need to go find something to actually like get pictures of with it.
Yeah.
The thing about Northern California where I am is all the buildings are very short because earthquakes. And so one of the things you'd want to do is go up in a building and like take pictures of the crowd,
Right.
And like, where do I go up?
I think you have to go up to like where Sutro Tower is and take photos.
Yeah, like probably. I probably need to go up to San Francisco. Go in. Maybe if I go up in like the Macy's or the Neiman Marcus or something, it'd be high enough. But yeah, it works. I mean, it's pretty sharp as far as these lenses go, and cheap. I mean, $230. So I can recommend it if this is the kind of thing that you're interested in getting into, and these kind of wacky lenses.
Novelty photography.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that's why I'm glad that I think the shift to mirrorless has made these kind of novelty lenses easier. Because with the much shorter flange distance, it's a lot easier to make all sorts of different lenses. And the flange distance is much more, it's more similar across all the brands. So this camera, like this 50 millimeter lens, is available for like every camera.
Right.
The same one.
Because since it's manual focus, it's just mechanical compatibility.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, it's nice. The next thing I want to get is one of those super wide, like astrophotography ones, like the 8 millimeter, fisheye, something like that.
Super fisheye. Yeah.
That's
those are fun.
Next. I mean,
those
I have
are fun
my
to take
14
portraits of people
but...
because you have to get right up in their face.
Take pictures of dogs with it. It's probably what I would do.
Yeah.
It's like remember the dog? Did you ever have that as a kid?
The what?
The dog.
No, I don't know I don't know what you're talking about.
It was this like art thing. I guess it was art. Basically, you go to thedogandfriends.com and you'll see it. It's basically they took pictures of dogs with a fisheye lens, so it made their nose look huge. Like that's the whole.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think this was a thing at like the Met when I was a kid. They had like exhibits of this.
Huh.
And I had a stuffed animal lab that just had like, it was a, regular stuffed animal sized body and then a massive nose on this lab. But
it's like the first time that people had discovered fisheye lenses for that kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah. And this was pre like social media too, so it was kind of novelty to see a funny picture of an animal.
Yeah.
For people if you didn't have the internet.
We get one of those fisheye zooms.
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to do astrophotography though. I want to go to like Yosemite or Big Sur or something and set up a tripod for a couple hours at night. Do that kind of thing. That's something I'm interested in doing.
Laowa 8 to 16 millimeter f3.5 to 5 zoom lens for Nikon Z.
Basically that. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Call this lens the Dreamer.
The Dreamer.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, now that I've dipped my toe into these, it's probably gonna drive me to get more novelty lenses. Get some of those like lens babies.
Oh yeah,
with the crazy
like,
filters
wild.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah. Why not? What else am I gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, in terms of providing some inspiration, I guess, or just allowing you to even go back to places that you shot a bunch,
right?
And then you're able to. It's like, well, now I can,
Actually, I think what I want next is a macro. That's what I actually would like to have. I want to do like birds and insects, I think. So I got to find, I know Nikon has them. They're kind of pricey for what they are. So I'm gonna look around and see if maybe there's other brands that have
Sigma or Tamron maybe, or
even one of these like, Laowas or whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Look.
Well, good luck.
Good luck at your IndyCar shoot.
Thank you.
Very curious to see how that turns out. I have no experience.
It's not till
with
July.
Automobiles.
I don't either. At least not when they're moving.
And stationary is easy.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. So, this has been Sensor Noise. That's all we have for you. We'll see you again sometime soon.
See ya.